Hello everyone, this is Korosh Erfani and today is Saturday, February 21st, 2026. We are going to talk about the war between Iran on the one hand and the United States and Israel on the other hand. The war is coming. We are maybe a few hours or a few days far from the starting point, but it's coming. One of the points that I would like to develop is the idea of the maximum pressure. As you know, that was a concept conceived by the Zionists in the Washington, D.C. In order to create a situation in which the Iranian government doesn't have any choice but surrounding, accepting all the conditions that are imposed by Israel via the United States. So the idea of maximum pressure was putting as many as possible sanctions, embargo, or any other kinds of actions that can put more and more pressure on the Iranian regime. That was the idea, right? Economic embargo, sanction for any oil income, or this kind of stuff. But I would like to extend the concept of maximum pressure. We can see that, on the other hand, Israel create a system or a mechanism according to which it can put the maximum pressure over the United States, or concretely on the United States President, Donald Trump. So what was it? It was a set of actions and decisions that will put at stake the presidency of Trump, and therefore push it toward a kind of Israeli desired actions, Israeli desired goal, right? We are talking about Epstein file, of course, and also this mess of tariffs, which is an Israeli plan executed by Trump, of course, also creating ICE and preparing the conditions for the civil war in the United States, creating the very bad situation for the American economy, inflation, and lots of things of this kind. The American economy is really on the verge of starting to show the signs of recession. So that's why we can see that there are several Israeli Zionist levers or leverage over the head of President Trump in order to force him, to execute this order of Netanyahu with regard to the war with Iran. So the real maximum pressure is here in the United States, even though the same thing had been applied to the Iranian economy and the Iranian regime and so on and so on. But when we see the effects of this maximum pressure policy of Israel here in the United States, we can see that the context is such right now that President Trump cannot project any future for himself if it is not something with this war we are talking about. I mean, the situation of Trump in the United States is such that he cannot really get rid of this option of war, right? Because what would be the prospect of the presidency of Trump without this war? That would be more and more disaster for the economy. We saw yesterday with this vote of the Supreme Court regarding the tariffs. So now he is really in trouble because he acted anti-constitution. So that's why he now has to take care of everything and pay back something like $153 billion to the corporations. So that's a really disastrous record for Trump, for the politics, for society, for economy, for the public opinion, for the immigration, everything, right? So which means that every element is present in order to prepare the impeachment of Trump once the elections, the midterm elections of November 26 take place, and the majority is effectively in the hands of Democrats. So the question is, will Trump accept such a dark, gloomy, uncertain future? We know Trump. We know the mental capacity and the attitude of this person. We know that when he has his back to the wall, he's able to do anything to upside down the situation, to create a chaos. So that's why the war with Iran, the huge global regional war with the capacity of transforming in a global war, is there on the table as not an option, but as the only option. And that's very important to account for it, this element, that you create the conditions in which the person who can decide about an action doesn't see anything but that option, doesn't have any other choice. This is how the preparation and the arrangement had been done for Trump, so that he goes, willingly or unwillingly, wanted or unwanted, toward this option, the war. Also imagine that Israel is in such conditions that it cannot have any certain future, right? This is a country that is potentially dead. Israel is agonizing. And in order to bring everything done with itself, it's able to commit any kind of madness, foolishness. It's totally possible to see Israel triggering the war if Trump continues effectively to hesitate about that. Now, let me give you also an idea about what is going on technically from the military point of view. As you know, the United States accumulated a quantity of force in the region. I am talking about the surrounding region of Iran. So these amounts of weapons and armed forces and everything necessary for waging a huge war, it cannot be there without having already made decisions about war. So that's a very subtle point, it's very delicate, but I invite you to pay attention to. You don't gather all this stuff over there if you don't want to wage a war, if you haven't already taken a decision regarding waging war. So everyone is telling that. One of them is Professor Robert A. Pape, if I pronounce correctly his name. So he's telling us something very basic but very interesting, right? So in this post, after having presented the scheme with all the stuff that are there, the military forces that the United States gathered in Persian Gulf. He said that these represent 40–50% of deployable U.S. air power in the world. Think about that. For one case, the United States brought half of U.S. air power in the world over there. That's something. That's huge. And he said, think air power on the order of the 1991 and 2003 Iraq War. If we think about that, we can see that it's the same pattern. The pattern of going to action, right? Going through a military operation. And said, Professor Pape says, and growing. Never has the U.S. deployed this much force against a potential enemy and not launched strikes. So which means that you bring all of this stuff only and only if you are sure about having a serious military operation, a serious military strike. So what does it mean? It means that you have already made your decision when you bring all these stuff over there. The decision is done. The decision for waging a war is done. The decision that hasn't been yet done is about when. Tomorrow, in a few hours, in 2 days. Right now, there are those people who are aware about this kind of stuff, talking about Monday or Tuesday as the starting point of the military strikes of the United States and Israel against the Iranian regime. Many are talking about the huge coordination between the Israeli forces and the American forces to start this attack and to keep it constantly for a few days so that they can break completely down the military structure and military forces of the Iranian government. So that's it. The idea is that creating the maximum pressure over the head of Trump, generating the necessary elements so that President Trump cannot see anything as his future but through the war, right? Through a huge war. And don't forget that this war will have the support of Democrats as well as Republicans, because the Democrat Party is an Israeli party. We know that. Democrat Party can oppose to a lot of things, but not that. All right? With the order of Israel, of course, the whole, almost the whole Democrat Party will be behind President Trump for the benefit and the advantage of Israel. So we can see that everything is set now so that the United States waged this war for Israel. Right? So the United States will be most probably sacrificed for the benefit of the greater Israel, for sure. This is what's going to happen. That's why, again, you remember I named and labeled 2026 as the years of war. Without any doubt, we can be sure that we are going to have this first war over there, but don't forget that it's a matter of expanding war, right? It's an expanding war. It's a developing war. Once it starts, nobody can control that. And you will see that there would be the involvement of the Iraqi forces, Yemeni forces, the Houthi, the Hashd al-Shabi in Iraq, and Hezbollah in Lebanon. We are going to have a huge regional war, and Iran warned that this war will imply and involve the other superpower, including Russia and China. So we are, without any hesitation, we can say on the verge of the first U.S.-Israeli war with Iran, and then the regional one, and then for sure the global potential global war, which will involve Russia, China, North Korea, Pakistan, and all the regional powers like Turkey as well. So we are going to have this war in a few hours or in a few days. We are monitoring that, and if necessary, we are going to have more videos regarding this subject. Thank you very much for watching this video.